going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is RuffledRowlit, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we got loads of things to talk about in regards to Pokemon, rumors, leaks, all that kind of stuff. Let's get started with the first thing, which is going to be over here on 4chan. So yes, there's a new post on 4chan from somebody claiming to be a leaker. I think this is just, again, one of those things where you have to be, well, a little bit, you know, try to be a little bit open-minded, but take it all with a massive grain of salt, or a mountain of salt, if I'm going to be honest. But basically, it was this post. It's a picture of, I guess some kind of Pokedex with old Gen 2 Pokemon in it. And then what he goes on to says is, Pokemon Let's Go Lugia and Let's Go Ho-Oh. I guess he tried just typo right there. And just said LGHL. Which apparently is what they're saying. So we'll be in the style of previous Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee games. So this post right here is from a random person, so keep in mind, don't take it as real just off the bat. Take all this with a mountain of salt. But it's claiming apparently there's going to be a new Let's Go Pikachu type game, you know, Let's Go Pikachu Eevee type game, but it's going to be Let's Go Lugia and Let's Go Ho-Oh game, apparently. And apparently it's going to be in the style of previous Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee games. Johto starters, Pokemon won't have new forms. They will have new signature moves and updated stats, similar to the Pikachu and Eevee. Okay, fair enough. The Pokedex is made up of the first 251 plus expanded ones, such as Farigiraf and Gliscor. Or, I mean, that's, honestly, I would be cool with that, if true. A returning character is Litha. Through her, you can unlock Hisui's Pokemon, such as, I guess, let's see, MT, or does he mean TM? I don't know. Barrier Assault or Hisui's Growlithe that appears in the Safari Zone. Okay, fair enough. Other side quests for other Pokemon not native to Indigo, such as Wooper from Paldea, starting to appear on Route 34, or Ponyta from Galar, present in a Pokemon Center. Okay. Strange. This new, the new collectible, such as Wooper from Paldea and Wooper, I guess. The new collectible is a kind of sticker album that you receive in Ecruteak City, in a new building called the Antique Shop. These stickers are based off of the Gold, Silver, and Crystal Pokemon sprites. I guess that's what they're trying to say here, but I don't think this image is legit, though, is it? Is this like an AI image of something? Because, like, this can't be real, right? Because it's just I think it's just a screenshot in the background of Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and I don't recognize where this image is from. That's the thing. I'm guessing it's just is this a mock-up? It's supposed to be a mock-up, or it's supposed to be like a real thing? Because I don't know, Chief. Seems like, I don't know, man. It seems a bit odd. But either way, the new collectible is kind of a sticker album. Skills are back, but maintainable items are not. I feel like this person is, like, almost trying to do, like, their, like a fake thing where they're bad at English or something, or, like, this is mistranslated or something. Because some of the stuff just sounds a little bit weird. Maintainable items are not? What does that even mean? I guess, I don't even know. I don't even know what that would be referring to. But skills are back, apparently, so I'm guessing is that HMs. Some areas have undergone small changes, such as Route 38, which now has a ranch with a Pokemon Center, and Route 39, which is now larger. Okay, I wouldn't mind that. Infinite tons have returned. I'm guessing this is where they talk about TMs, infinite TMs, as well as repellents, bait, and EXP candy. Okay, so that stuff is still there. Apparently, the leader level is better balanced, although it's still easy and below the difficulty curve. Even wild Pokemon are better distributed in Johto and Kanto region, which I think is a big concern people had with, you know, Pokemon Gold and Silver back in the days. Like, the distribution of Pokemon in Gold, Silver, and stuff has always been people's, like, biggest gripe with it. And that's why people have even made whole fan games and ROM hacks and stuff just to fix those issues. So it'd be good if they did fix that kind of stuff. Continuing, though, even wild Pokemon are better distributed in Johto and Kanto region. The game has many ties to Pokemon Arceus, thanks to Litha. So this character Litha, yeah, right. The capture and art direction are in the same style as Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. I would hate that. I personally don't want the capturing mechanic from Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. I did not like it. I don't think we need it again. I don't think it's necessary, but, I mean, we'll have to wait and see, right? Continuing on. Saying the models are 3D like in Scarlet and Violet, but with more Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee-centric style. So, I wonder what that would mean. I wonder if that means, like, kind of like how Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee had kind of a little bit of a chibi style to it, but not fully that direction. And then, I guess, like, if you just look up Let's Go Pikachu Eevee, right? If we just open this up on a different page. So, let's just search it up on Google. Now, let's look at some images of actual gameplay. So, the game didn't necessarily look bad, right? Like, if you look at some of these screenshots and stuff, you know, the game didn't look bad. It just had a specific style to it that I actually like. It's very kind of like cartoony, but it wasn't really next gen, right? It wasn't what people expected from the next console game of Pokemon. It still didn't reach that level people wanted, but its style, the actual style of the world, wasn't that horrible. I didn't mind the style. I do think they could definitely up this even more. But I feel like a mix between this and Scarlet and Violet would actually be pretty solid. At least that's my personal opinion. Again, that's just what I think. Maybe you guys think differently, but I think a mix between Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee's art style should be enough. Because I know some people don't like the more realistic style. Like, even if something of like Palworld, right? People don't like not a lot of people, but some people don't like the super hyper realistic world and stuff that exists there. So I don't know, man. It's curious. It's a curious situation. The catching mechanic, though, I would hate for this to return. I don't want this again. I'm just not feeling this one, man. I don't know, dude. I don't like this one. I don't want this back. But that's just my thoughts and opinions. Again, like, you guys might think differently. The only thing that's a bit confusing is this image. I want to see what this image is actually from, if there's anything on Google. And no, this image can't be reverse image searched anywhere. So, because the background here, the actual background behind here, just looks like a screenshot from Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. And this book looks a little bit, to put it in layman's terms, it looks a little bit, I don't know, scuffed, that might be the right way to put it. I don't know. I don't think, I mean, again, I don't know what this actually is referring to. I don't know if this is from a different Pokemon game that I just don't remember. I have no idea, but it's just a bit weird. It's all just a little bit weird, but that's pretty much where I'm going to end up on that one. Let's move on to the next thing, which was a post made by Umino Tami, who is a person that shares Pokemon thoughts, leaks, etc. And they posted about, like, a while back, actually, this was the 13th of October of last year, that there was actually a mystery dungeon trademark that came through. Saying here that today Nintendo filed a patent application for Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. Of course, it could just be a patent renewal, but there were reports that Spike Chunsoft and the Pokemon Company are teaming up to develop something. So, is it possible that that new thing is going to be a new Mystery Dungeon game this year? Again, I'm very much for the idea of a new Mystery Dungeon game. I think it'll be sick to see a new one, maybe a remake of one of the best ones. Again, we'll see. Also, down here, you guys can see the most recent, like, you know, in the last, like, whatever, like, few months worth of Pokemon, trademarks that have been made, or patents. And you got, like, stuff like Crimson Haze, Night Wanderer, which I guess is, like, TCG sets. And then here's Stella Miracle. So Stella Miracle will be the Stellar type in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, the second DLC. We also had Momowaru, which I guess is Momotaro, or, you know, Pekarunt or whatever. I think, at least. This is a month ago that this was trademarked. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff here. And it's a bit interesting because, yeah, the fact that we had, the Pokemon stuff here, like specifically having, Pokemon, Mystery Dungeon is intriguing. It means that it is potential that possibly we might be seeing something of that this year. Or, as mentioned, it could just be a trademark that needs to be renewed, right? Because you can see here, publication date was back in last year, in October. And, again, it could be possible, but the fact is that it was actually registered for goods and services regarding electronic game programs, downloadable electronic games, video game programs, downloadable video game programs, ROM cartridges with Pokemon game, video game program software stored, memory cards for video game consoles. Again, it was trademarked for mostly the stuff in regards to video games. All the trademarks here were like for all the video game stuff, which would imply that, it's probably not going to be something else other than the video games. But it's intriguing that they re-trademark it. Sometimes they will just re-patent it or, re-trademark it over a certain amount of time to make sure they keep the patent just in case. In case something happens, they maybe just want to keep it. But it's just interesting to see that they've been doing this because, I don't know, man, it's just a bit of it's interesting. It just adds the potential possibility that something might be happening. So I'm just going to leave that one right there and move on to the next thing, which is rumor. Apparently, prototype Switch menu mockup surfaces online. So this right here is a rumor that was posted over on Nintendo Soup. Said 7 years after the console's launch, a prototype menu mockup for Nintendo Switch has reportedly surfaced. These images were first shared by Paul Felix Kelly on social media. You guys can kind of see what the images actually look like here if we open it up. Because this all has been kind of playing into this whole idea of, will we be seeing that Switch 2 soon? Is it going to change a lot? Are we going to see a different version of, like, of the actual menu and stuff? Is it going to be an improvement finally? Because there was a lot of issues with the original one. But yes, there is an old one that surfaced, which is really strange. But guess what? We might be getting ourselves some news on Switch 2 sooner or later, because it's about time. We're in that period now. It's been a long time. It's 2017 is when you know, the Switch came out. So it's been almost, we're running now the 7-year anniversary in March of the Nintendo Switch. It's been a while, man, so it's about time we move on to the next thing. At least that's where I'm at. So yeah, the mock-ups, pretty interesting. So I'm gonna leave that at that. Moving on, though, we also have this post right here, which is a big one by Umino Tami, who's the person who posted the other thing, which talked about, like, the fact that there seem to be potentially some hints for Generation 10 through some of the Pokemon we've already seen. And it kind of goes through a bunch of potential things right here. Talking about, you saw events of the Electric and Ice Gym leaders in the DLC. They have a special relationship. Generation 11, I guess Gen 11 packages, Wuchien, something Mountain Pyramid, Switch 2 remakes, Gold Silver in 2026 Paradox, XY Paradox plus Ting Lu, Oras Paradox, Sun and Moon Paradox with Chiyu, and Black and White something. Again, it's a bit far-fetched, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm gonna leave it at that. If you guys want to go through this and pause and look through each one of these individual posts, you can do so. But again, I don't personally know if I agree with a lot of these things that are being stated in here, to be honest with you. But again, I thought it'd be fun to just share. So that's that. Let's move on to the next thing, which in this case is going to be this post that was made by Pokemon Company. It's either, so here's what's happening, right? The Pokemon Company has made 2 tweets here. There was a tweet here, which they made about, of course, if we scroll down here, they made a tweet about Ho-Oh and Lugia taking flight in Hidden Treasure of Area 0 Part 2 for Scarlet and Violet, which of course was part of this promotion they were doing. If we scroll a bit further down, we're going to see the original one. Here it is. So it was this one. Articuno, Zapdos, Moltres await in the Hidden Treasure of Area 0 for Scarlet and Violet. So it's basically just them kind of tweeting out all the legendaries. The thing, though, is that they tweeted out the Gen 1 legendaries and then included, like, you know, this little old school preview, sort of, right? Like, tell us, trainer, did you catch Articuno, Moltres, Zapdos in your first ever playthrough? And then showing all these, like, you know, gameplays here of all the games, which is cool and all. But then they did that for Johto as well. But it was really weird because it was so random. It just said Shahoo, and then it was just like, I guess it's a cry of freaking Ho-Oh with a rainbow. And then Gyah, basically, Gyat, for Lugia being here caught in gold and silver, which was really, really weird, okay? It was really strange that they tweeted this. But basically, what people think is either they're doing a countdown here that's supposed to be kind of covering like every week leading up to the release of Pokemon, you know, Pokemon Day, right? Here's the problem though. We're on the 23rd of January right now, and the amount of weeks that we have left until Pokemon Day is basically, let me think. So we have this week, we can count this week as 1. We have next week, which is 2. We have the first full week of February, which is 3. Right? So that's the third one. We have 4, 5, basically 6 weeks left. So in that time, they've covered already 2 gens, right? So they covered first and second gen. So they have 6 more generations that they can fit into those last remaining 6 weeks, right? But then, yeah, where's Gen 9 in that? I guess Gen 9 just doesn't get included. But also it's weird because they keep talking about Scarlet and Violet in these posts, but then these other posts, where they show like the actual original gameplay are a bit different, which makes me wonder, they've only shown Gen 1 and Gen 2 so far, so is it actually a countdown, or is this one of those weird hints they give? Because I'm going to tell you, they've done these hints before. Before they actually revealed Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, they made a whole Twitter account all about Eevee. A whole Twitter account all about Eevee, and they did a bunch of weird posts about Pikachu and Eevee, and then they revealed Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, which nobody thought was going to happen, but it ended up being real. So I'm just saying, I know it's a bit far-fetched, and I know some of you will just like be like, you're talking out of your ass, you don't know what you're on about, you're just waffling. Here's the thing. They love to do this kind of stuff. They've done this forever, and I keep saying this every single year when there is a hint like this or a weird thing like this that could be a hint that ends up being real, and then everybody's like, oh, you know, never deal, forget about it. But then sometimes when it is wrong, people will take that one time it was not the case, and they'll run wild with that one. My point is just this. Let's just stay optimistic. Let's just stay open-minded with the possibility that this could be their lead-up just to Pokemon Day. Either it's just a lead-up to Pokemon Day, just kind of being like, hey, let's hype it up. Or it's kind of like a weird little tiny poke, right? A little jab at the idea of like, hey, guys, haha, we're, you know, Johto, Kanto, they're both together. Because, yeah, Johto and Kanto always come in a package. You don't get, like, you don't get Johto on its own, ever. You always get in a package with Kanto. So it would make sense the two of them would be tweeted, you know, together. But, again, it's a little bit weird. I'm not going to lie. It's a bit strange. They haven't tweeted much lately. They only really tweeted a few things, like the TCG here references. They also tweeted, like, this picture, which is a bit of a meme, Pachirisu. and then some stuff about the TCG being retweeted, and that's pretty much it in terms of tweets from them. So it is a bit odd, I'm not gonna lie, but we're gonna leave it at that, okay? I'm gonna leave it at that and move on and see the next thing. So next thing, there's actually a new Pokemon Sleep anniversary event celebrating their 6-month anniversary. Pokemon Sleep is gifting researchers the gifts below, which includes a function now that allows the whole team to eat cooked meals together, 2 new sleep-style Dex goals, Lapis Lake preparations, new island releases, 1 out of 24, 3 p.m. local time. Green grass corn was added as a new ingredient. 7 new recipes. Pokeflute was added as a relaxing sound. And bug fixes for future game and update plans can be found on PokemonSleep.net/en/news/4623. So yes, there is basically some news about that. Of course, you guys may have remembered yesterday that we have a new 5-star raid event, which I didn't know. I thought it was a 7-star raid event, but no, it's just a 5-star raid event. And the stupid thing is that it's still exclusive to the game that they're already from. So it's a Terra event for Fluttermane and Iron Jugglies. But I'm gonna be honest, it's so stupid, okay? Why wouldn't you do the reverse of this? Why wouldn't you have Iron Jugglies in Scarlet and Fluttermane in Pokemon Violet to give people a reason to get their hands on these? Like, it seems a little counterintuitive, okay? But yeah, so that's happening. And also, apparently, there's gonna be Gulpin is going to be showing up in Scarlet, a rare mark in Scarlet, and an uncommon mark in Violet, and then the rare mark in Violet of Stunky and the uncommon mark in Scarlet. Then the rare mark of Skrelp is going to be in Violet, and the uncommon mark is going to be in Scarlet, and then of course the rare mark in Scarlet is going to be for Clauncher, and the uncommon one's going to be in Violet. So yeah, it's pretty much summarizes that. They're going to be available in mass outbreaks throughout Paldea, but also going to be in Kitakami and the Terrarium over in Unova, I guess. So yeah, going to be available in all those places. It's all a little bit weird, I'm not going to lie, but yeah, it's just a little bit strange. So it is what it is. Moving on, though, to the next thing, and I think this is going to be the funniest shit I'm going to talk about today. So number one, first of all, Nintendo has not really said anything about Palworld. So apparently Nintendo and the Pokemon Company declined to comment on Palworld's similarity to Pokemon. There was apparently some ex-lawyer of Pokemon or Nintendo, there's some bullshit about that he was like saying like, oh, this is ridiculous, this game is ridiculous, it's a joke, there's a case for a lawsuit, etc, etc, etc. But apparently, as Palworld's popularity continues to rise, many fans are wondering if the game will eventually become the target of legal action for Nintendo or the Pokemon Company. The only time they can become a target of that is if they legitimately, one-for-one, stole a Pokemon. I don't even know if they could do much about them taking models, unless there is unless they have a little copyright on the 3D shapes of the Pokemon that they've used. And that's the thing. The whole thing with Palworld, I'm not going to go into this video. I still want to make a full-fledged, proper, big video talking about all things to say about Palworld and everything. From the perspective of somebody who covers Pokemon and somebody who is a Pokemon fan and somebody who does all things Pokemon on this channel and has been covering Pokemon basically half my life. But what I want to say is this, okay? This is very funny because Nintendo can't really do much unless they can certainly prove that something was stolen, aka Palworld literally has like a model of a Pokemon that has been one-for-one stolen, which yes, I have seen some of the posts. You guys can go, if you scroll down, I think there are some companies there's some people on Twitter who've shared some of that, but that's the problem. I don't really think much is going to happen. So what they said here is basically, many fans are wondering if the game will eventually become the target of legal action from Nintendo or the Pokemon Company, namely due to the stunning similarities many of the crafting games pals have to existing Pokemon. According to statements published by Bloomberg, both companies have declined to comment on Palworld, although Nintendo acknowledged that they are aware of the game's existence. Admittedly, it would be quite difficult for either of the two not to be, given how Palworld has been dominating gaming discussion online for a variety of reasons. And here, Nintendo, basically is from Takashi, who said, Nintendo said it is aware of Palworld, but not commenting on individual cases, while Pokemon Company declined to comment. Aside from the situation with Palworld, Nintendo in particular has a bit more vested interest in this case, as one of the developers' Pocket Pair's other game, Craftopia, was previously criticized for being eerily similar to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, copying many game mechanics and even the appearance of some of the enemies. Some of these mechanics are also used in Palworld, although the design similarities Pokemon stand out a lot more. While both companies have declined to comment for now, it's uncertain whether this is a sign of real illegal action behind the scenes or if they have simply chosen to let these similarities slide. Stay tuned for more updates as they come. So again, if we open up this original post here about some of the stunning similarities, it is undeniable that some of the designs are very similar, okay? Like this clearly is the face of I forget his name, Berserker, whatever. It's literally is his face, okay? It's like, it basically just looked like his face. And then down here, this one is the most far-fetched one, I would say. I feel like this one is really pulling at strings with the Xerneas one. This one is pretty blatant. I mean, it like, literally, had they just changed the colors, it would have been fine. But they're way too close. It just looks way too similar, man. But here's the thing. They have, like, you know, there's a lot of similarities. It's undeniable. I just hope to God, and this one is a bit on the nose. Like, this one just feels like, ooh. This one really feels like they really pushed the bar on this one with, like, you know, similarity-wise. But I will say this, okay? There are quite a few of them that are different. And at the end of the day, as long as they didn't steal the literal models, which, at the end of the day, it's not about here. I'm not going to sit here and talk morals and stuff like that. As the literal fact of the matter is, companies steal from companies all the time. I'm going to use a good example like this. Blizzard, the company Blizzard, they exist because they took concepts from other stuff to make some of their best, biggest franchises. The same way that a company like Riot Games, right? What did Riot Games do? They basically took the concept that existed at the time, where, like, I guess Valve would be the Steam, right? Valve would be the better example. They took basically a mod of, a literal mod, right? Of, I think it was Warcraft 3. They took a mod of that was called Dota, right? And they made the whole Dota 2 game, right? That's how Dota 2 came to be. It's because Dota was a mod in that game, and they just made a whole game out of it, and a lot of the characters of that were based on stuff from Warcraft. Of course, they did make new stuff too, but a lot of stuff was actually connected. They ended up making their own stuff. I'm really, really hoping, for the sake of Palworld, that what they will do going forward, this is just my kind of hoping, like, feeling here, is that they'll look at the success they have, and, of course, they can look at the success they have and realize, hey, shit, we can do whatever we want. I hope that's not what they take away from this. And my bigger fear is not actually about Palworld or Nintendo suing them. Frankly, I don't care. What I care about is, I hope that the genuine, really cool fan game developers don't get screwed over. Because I'm scared that if they did use models, right, which that would be really messed up if they did. If they actually stole the literal models and reused them, that is just wrong. Even if Nintendo is a massive and Pokemon company, I'm not defending them. Like, who gives a shit? I don't care about Nintendo. But at the end of the day, it is still stealing assets, which on a legal standpoint, it's messed up. But what I really hope they didn't do is that exact thing. And what I think is worse is not really what's going to happen to Palworld, but what might happen to us as Pokemon fans. Either this is going to cause a lot of things to happen, like, for example, Nintendo and the Pokemon company cracking down on anything fan-made in Pokemon, or any use of their assets in any way, shape, or form. Remember, we're talking about Nintendo here. They are the biggest sticklers in the world when it comes to using their, like, actual franchise, or their assets, or their IPs in any way, shape, or form. I don't remember this correctly, but I think it was either Disney or Nintendo who went after, like, a birthday party of a child because they used one of their themes or whatever. I'm just saying. Companies are scary, okay? Big companies are scary. I just hope that this doesn't infuse some kind of vitriolical, like, hatred within Nintendo CEOs and their investors and their, like, legal team to casually go after fan games that make zero, okay, zilch off of stuff. That is my fear. I don't give a shit about Palworld. If they want to go into a legal battle, I'm going to say like this. Palworld was fun. That's all I'm going to say on it. It was a fun game. Just hope that they can change some of the designs going into the future, or at least make some more, like, interesting or different designs that don't have to borrow from Pokemon. But at the end of the day, even Pokemon borrows from real life things, right? Everything is a bit of a derivative of something else. As long as they didn't steal assets. That's my biggest thing. As long as they didn't literally steal assets. But I will say this, though. I hope to God, okay, that this doesn't cause Nintendo to go after fan games. Because, man, fan games are the coolest thing about Pokemon. I love fan games, and I want to show you guys some cool, like, stuff. Like, Relic Castle has so many cool fan games that people can play. So many cool things that exist here that people make. These are fan-made projects, right? They're all with the Pokemon label. They use a logo, but they don't make really money off of this. It's just cool stuff that they create, right? Ashen Frost, really sick game. Has tons of content in it. It's an awesome freaking Pokemon fan game. Of course, it's not 3D and etc., but it's a cool game. And I just hope that basically just Palworld by proxy, its existence, doesn't lit a massive butthurt fire underneath Nintendo and ruins the basically the chances for fan game developers. We already know how strict Nintendo is and how willingly they will go after like Pokemon Uranium and stuff like that. Which also leads me to something else, which is definitely going to be taken down, which is going to be nothing else than this. This is apparently a mod. So this was Toasted Shoes on Twitter posted this, but apparently Palworld has a Pokemon mod, and he's going to be posting a video about this today. But you guys can see right here, it's actually been disabled. Wow, copyright owner. So it was actually taken down. Interesting. It was taken down. I guess Nintendo actually struck this time. They must have seen it. But here's some images from it that I think I can show. And it's basically somebody took Pokemon models and actually shoved them into Palworld, which made me realize that Pokemon has a style that's way more like Pokemon. You know, it feels more like Pokemon. The Palworld monsters that I've seen don't really feel like Pokemon to me. They feel like, well, yeah, a bit of a knockoff, to be honest. It does feel like a bit of a knockoff when I see them. So I feel like that's a bonus in a sense. But yeah, so it's pretty crazy. Somebody already made a mod, and I think this mod is like already been taken down. The fact that like this post is gone is pretty insane. Like you know, Nintendo already like took it down. It's pretty nuts, man. So yeah, that pretty much summarizes that, guys. But yeah, I want to hear your thoughts, guys. What do you think about Palworld? Have you played it, or do you not want to touch that game because you hate what they're doing? Because I'm gonna just say it like this, okay? I think the game is fun, but I do think that they should not be stealing like assets. Like that's where I draw the line. Like stealing designs or concepts or taking IDs and concepts, totally fine. Pokemon did that from Dragon Quest. That's totally fine. Things are always derivative of each other. Pikachu is a mouse, for crying out loud, okay? It's not like Pikachu is a wholly unique ID. Everything is a bit of a derivative of something else. But there's something different between derivative and stealing literal assets from something else. It's like me taking this mouse right here and being like, hey guys, this is my new mouse. And all I do is color it like slightly different, keep the logo on there and be like, hey, guys, I made my own mouse. I mean, I didn't put anything inside of it, no new stuff. There's literally nothing new about it. It even has the original name on it, but I made it. It's kind of like that, you know, it's kind of like that, which I hope is not the case. But it's a lot of people are trying to dissect it. I'm not one of them. I'm not going to get involved into what they're doing. I'm just going to say my thoughts on it. Fun game. Hope to God they didn't steal assets. And I hope that they can learn from this going forward. And hopefully, I'd let Palworld burn if it means that fan games stay safe. Because I care more about Pokemon fan games than I care about Palworld. I'm just going to put it like that. Palworld is fun, but to me, Pokemon fan games are more fun, okay? Just going to put it like that. Pokemon fan games are more fun, and I hope they stay safer. So that pretty much summarizes my video for today, guys. Thank you all for watching. Sorry for this video being a bit of a mess, but I'll see you guys in the next one.